Welcome back, guys, to another episode of FormCast. We took last week off because it was Christmas, and guess what? I don't even know what day it is. It's still the same year, I think. But by the time you listen to this, it's going to be next year. 2023 comes with a whole lot of wacky things. And what does that mean? Taxes. Yeah, it's not going to be fun. So I quickly wanted to take today, this episode, to talk about business and streaming, and when do I make it a business? And I've been asked this question quite often, is when did you decide to turn your stream into a business, and how does it work, and what is different, and what changes, and all these questions, right? Now, I do want to, before we get to talk about anything about taxes and business and money and all this stuff, I will let you know that I am not an expert. I know very little. So what I'm going to say and share is kind of my experience. Now, I do live in Ontario, Canada. So even for my fellow Canadians, it might be a little bit different given provincial taxes and provincial rules and regulations are a bit different, but also very much so different for anybody in a different, country, the US, Europe, anything like that. So what I suggest that you go to wherever you need to go, find the resources you need to know. Do I need to make a business number? Do I need to register myself? Do I need to claim this, claim that? How does it work? All that good stuff. So I decided to turn my stream into a business, or I should say register for a business number, when I felt personally that I was making enough money month to month to say, I'm going to need to claim this on my income tax, my regular income tax as a personal income. However, if you register as a business, then you are able to claim expenses. Now, how does that help you in the whole tax world and all that kind of stuff as a business? Well, what that does is lowers the amount of tax that you have to pay because you have expenses for your business. For example, if you made $10,000 in a year through your business and you had $9,000 of expenses, technically you only made $1,000 through your business. Now, this will affect your taxes. Some things are 100% tax returnable or tax claimable, I guess you can say. Certain things like electronics and other things are only 50%, but that's for me specifically here in Ontario. In Canada, again, I suggest you check with your tax experts wherever you live to see how that works for you. Now, I decided I didn't have a sheet to go by to say, like, this is when you make a business number. It's free here. So you literally just make a business number. Now, when does it get to the point where you have to pay things is if your business is a limited corporation where you want to incorporate your business, then you're going to have to pay different, expenses for that. So that being said, I decided to do it when I just felt the need, like, hey, I'm making more money than I ever thought I was, and I need to claim this. But if I claim all this income, I'm going to get, taxed out of the hoo-ha. And as a self-employed individual, or even if you have a job, because I had a job at the time, if you have a job plus your self-employment is taxable, and no one takes tax off. Twitch, when they pay me, they don't take tax off. When I get donations, when I get payments from partnerships, sponsorships, or anything like that, I don't get any tax taken off. I have to do that myself. So I tax myself in hopes of when I do my tax return at the end of the year or beginning of the next year, that I have enough saved to pay the tax that is owed. Hopefully, maybe there won't be any owed. You never know. I don't know exactly how they figure it out, but you put your income in through all your income sources, whatever is your job, your full-time job, all that kind of stuff, plus your self-employment stuff, Twitch, donations, all that kind of stuff. And then you put your expenses in and you hope to see that you don't owe a lot. Or maybe you don't owe any, or maybe they are going to give you some money in return. So it was free for me. It was kind of a no-brainer. You just register, you get a business number, so that way when you do your tax return, you do it as a self-employment tax return, and then you literally get to put your claims in and put your expenses in and that kind of stuff. Now, what you can claim is different, obviously, like I said. Now, what to claim, and everyone's like, do I need to claim this? Do I need to claim that? And I had the same questions, and I had to ask different people. What do you claim? Do you claim just Twitch? And I spoke to some experts where they said, because they are paying you, you're technically working for them, but it's still income. but you don't, claim it the same way. All these kind of different things. I don't know why they make it so complicated for us, regular folk. But at the end of the day, you have to claim what Twitch pays you out. You have to claim what any income from partnerships, sponsorships, or, events where you get paid to do things or anything. If you get paid from TikTok, from social media platforms, any income you have to claim. Donations are not gifts. They are considered tips. And some places, some platforms like Streamlabs calls them donations. I think they changed it to tip history. I'm not sure. I know Stream Elements calls them tips, all this kind of stuff. Tip is the word. Now, this is not cash. This is electronically, delivered. So there is a paper trail. So leave it up to you on however you want to do your thing. But donations on stream are needing to be claimed as income. So what I suggest is use PayPal. PayPal is a global wide service. If you use Cash App, Venmo, then you might not get, many donations, because here in Canada, I can't get Cash App or Venmo. So can't donate. So that being said, all your income, PayPal, merch, anything has to be claimed. Now, on the flip side of this, most of your expenses for your business, so if you pay monthly services for softwares, monthly services for merchandise stores, if you pay for, your mortgage, if you work from home, right? If your stream is in your home, you can claim part of your mortgage or the interest you paid, or however it is where you live, you can usually claim those things. So it all balances itself out. And then at the end of the day, you say, oh, this is what I made from my business, because all this is the income for my business. This is how much I spent on expenses for crafts and this and this and that and this, whatever, Christmas tree for Christmas or for the background, whatever. And then you have what you have left at the end of the day. What are the benefits of making your stream a business? Well, one, you don't get pooped on in taxes, but also I think it puts you in a different mindset, I would say. It says, my stream, I'm earning enough income that it is a business. Where can this take me? Where can I go? Certain things are like, you go to TwitchCon. You can claim your trip through your business, right? And yes, you have to pay the money. You have to pay the $3,000-$4,000 or whatever for flights and for hotels. People kind of get confused. It reminds me of Schitt's Creek, moment where the guy says, the write-off people will take care of this. I don't know, they just write it off, right? Well, no, it's not really that how it works, is that it's the tax is able to be written off. So you still have to pay, you still have to go, but when something is 100% claimable, for example, say it costs you $1,000, when you go your taxes, that's $1,000 that you're claiming that is an expense, which will help you reduce the amount of tax you owe. Now, I spoke to an expert a while back, and something stuck with me was like, you can't outrun the tax man. So a lot of people will try to be like, I got to buy this. It's the end of the year, right? And they're like, I need more expenses because I'm going to get taxed a lot. I'm going to buy this and buy that and buy this. But then you're just kind of throwing your money out because you don't actually need those things. And you can't get away from the tax man at the end of the day, regardless. So one other thing about this is I'd encourage you to seek some assistance and expert advice in terms of where your tax bracket is. Now, for me specifically, it's certain amount gross income or net income. I forget which one. But it's 20% tax. And then as soon as you go to the next person, it's 29 or 30%. And then it goes higher and higher and higher, of course. Now, what does this mean is you get 30% tax, let's say, of your income at a certain level that needs to go towards taxes. Now, of course, your expenses will fluctuate what that amount actually is. But if you said you had zero expenses, then 30% of your total income at that point, or 40 or 50 even, but most likely 20 to 30, I'd say, needs to be claimed for taxes. So you need to put that money aside, for example. So taxes is very stressful. I hate it. I don't think anyone, the tax experts love what they do. I'll take that back. I would never love doing taxes on the regular basis or helping people with their taxes. But it struck, I'm looking at my own taxes and my income and expenses and all that kind of stuff and trying to figure it all out. It can be very stressful. It's not something that most people enjoy doing. It's really easy when you just have your regular job. You get the forms from the government or forms from your job or whatever it is, and you plug them in and boom, done, right? Or you go see a tax expert, you pay the money, and they get it done for you. If you have a lot of income and you have a lot of expenses and it is really hard to kind of overlook everything at once and keep track of everything, I suggest getting a bookkeeper. I'm probably someone who should have a bookkeeper, because I always tell myself I'm going to try and organize this. Oh, that's an expense, put it there. I never do that. At the time of taxes, it's like, okay, well, here's my expenses and receipts and this and that, and I got to add it all together, and it's a heck of a time, right? But you can go pay someone to just give them all your stuff and do it for you, but it's pretty pricey depending where you are and where you go. But I would highly suggest that even if you make a very little amount of money, keep track of your money. You can use certain apps, but usually you have to pay monthly for those, especially if you wanted to calculate things specifically. You can get an Excel spreadsheet or Google Sheets or Notes or whatever it's called to calculate for you. So you can put your income on a monthly basis from all your things, and then it'll calculate it for you. For me, for example, I'm in Canada. I get paid in US from Twitch. All my other payment forms from social media, from partnerships, are usually US as well. No one really pays in Canadian, so I have to convert all of that amount into Canadian and then put it into my tax forms and income and all that stuff. So there's different steps based on where you are, but not to fret. If you can go and make your stream a business, have a business number. For me, for example, the first $15,000 you make in a year is non-taxable. The government cannot tax you if you make $15,000 or less. So that being said, there's a certain strategy, I guess you can say, is for the first $15,000, technically you don't need to put any money away. Would I suggest that you do? Yes, because if you still make, let's say, $1,000 in January, well, I'm very far from the $15,000. However, I'm going to put 20% of that away, because you never know. You just never know. I don't want to get to the end of the year, I'm doing my taxes, and it says I owe $15,000 and I got $1,000 to put toward taxes. You know what I mean? Just prepare yourself. Preparation is the key to success. I don't know who said that. Probably just me. Somebody else said that at some point. Someone famous. Not me. So at the end of the day, just to kind of quickly go over it, if it's free, I suggest you get a business number for your stream. Why? Because you can claim expenses. It will help you in your taxes. If you need certain things, then you could purchase, office supplies like pencils and pens and markers and Post-it notes and all these things that you might need, and you can claim all of it, usually, depending on where you are. But if it's free, then you're not losing out. And what changes after that? Absolutely nothing. Continue to stream the way you do. The only thing that changes when you do your taxes, you're going to have a personal tax side, and you're going to have a business tax where you're self-employed. Well, you're going to have to answer some different questions and all that. Again, I seek assistance every year so far. Last year was my first time doing it, as a business. So it was really different for me, but I sought some expert help. And I believe for TurboTax Canada, so for all my Canadians, there is some information somewhere out there regarding, look on their website, I guess, but regarding content creation and streaming and all that kind of stuff, where you can get some extra deductibles. So there's certain things that you can claim because you're in that line of work. Not all tax experts will understand this. My tax expert didn't know even what category I would fit in, given the line of work. It's not necessarily just entertainment or whatever. It kind of fits in with a lot of other things, right? Especially depending on where you get your income for your business. So if it's free, I suggest doing it. If you have to invest like $300 to incorporate your business, and that's the only way you do it, I would say maybe hold off until you're making a certain amount of money. Or if you have certain regulations that say at this point, if you make this amount, you need to claim this as a self-employed business, yada, yada, yada. So educate yourself is probably the biggest thing I'd say. But don't be scared of it. If you have questions, ask the experts. Don't ask me. I don't know anything. But it's the end of the year, and this is tax season, and this is a place where people get scared. So don't fret. Take it easy. Save your receipts. You never know when you're going to need them. And have fun with it, because if you don't, then you're just going to get stressed out and go crazy and say, I don't want to do this. And then you get tax audited, and then you miss something, and then the IRS is after you, and the tax people. Nobody likes the tax people except for other tax people. So that being said, I think it's a good thing to talk about, to look over. So if you have any questions or any comments or anything like that, put them down on the YouTube video. If you're listening to Spotify or Apple Podcasts, feel free to go to the YouTube video. We upload every single podcast every single week on YouTube as well. Watch it, like it, subscribe to the channel. There's always more fun stuff. The podcast, we cover all sorts of things. Yeah, that's that. I'm hungry now. Okay.